What's going on, guys, and welcome back for another spoiler recap here at Big Gold Belt Media. Today, we're going to talk about Invincible, Season 3, Episode 5, premiering only on Prime Video, February 20th. Got myself here, Cam from Cam's Collection, and then we also got, I cannot get these damn side which way you're on. I'm going to get it down before the end of this. We got Damian G right over here, and we got my girl Stevie down bottom, and we just finished watching the episode. Let's just go through. Let's talk about like first thoughts of this episode. What you guys thought. We'll start with you, Stevie.
This episode was really filler, but I do think that this is like a calm before big stuff happens.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is like maybe the least impactful episode of like the major story. But I do like where it went because I do like exploring sidelines. Side stories of these characters, which is something that you may get in comics a lot because there's more time.
Right.
But I do like that they are exploring it in the show, which I think is cool.
Yeah, same. What about you, Damien?
Agreed. I know I've said it in the first 3 episodes, but I really enjoy slice of life moments. So as much as I've been making fun of Mark all season for being a putz, in terms of his dating life or having no game, at least we get to understand, like, okay, remember, this is a kid still. This isn't a 42-year-old steel-jawed superhero. This is a teen or late teen, early college student. Can't even send an email, apparently. And as Cam said earlier, he keeps getting holes put in him every episode. So
yeah.
It's a growing pain. And I think that's one of the things all 3 of us said our first review was he's growing as the series is going. Yeah. And as I agree with Stevie, it felt fillery, but it had what I wanted, which was fight scenes. So I was good with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. I agree with everything both of you guys said. Definitely a filler episode for sure. Definitely felt like it gave us a little bit more backstory and a lot of characters that we wouldn't see or that aren't explored in the first 2 seasons, which I thought was cool. And this episode actually kicks off. We get to see kind of the family life of the crime boss we know as Titan, who took over for Machine Head. That was actually surprising for me to see. Like, I don't know. I when I think of characters on the show, I don't even think of like their backstory, right? I'm just like, all right, he does one thing. He takes over. This is what he does. He's a villain. But they've done such a great job of showing us the reasons why people do things or why people do crimes, or, maybe they have a better objective, or they have families that they need to support. Before, it was just like, all right, good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
He defeats the villain. In the story, they go to jail or they die, and that's it. You don't hear anything about it. But I think they've done such a great job of giving us more of that, that backstory, just in these few episodes that we've seen. It gave me like a feeling of the what is it, Godfather of Harlem, watching Titan walk down the street, like, and kind of like people handing him coffee and like being like, oh, hey, good morning, sir. You know what I'm saying? like he was like in the office, but the city is his whole entire office, which is crazy. Right. So in this first part of the episode, we get to see him walking his daughter to school. And I'm pretty sure his daughter does not know that he's a crime boss. She probably thinks like, daddy makes money, like kids aren't thinking like how or what the job is. And he's walking his daughter to school. And of course, everyone in the community is basically kind of like their own essential part to why the city is better than what it was before. Because I believe in, what was it, season 1 of Invincible? We got
episode 5.
Episode 5. We actually saw the city and how it was like, drug addicts, a lot of crime going on in the area. And now we see that since Titan has taken over, the city kind of has its own identity, and the people are actually proud of living in that area, which I thought was a drastic change and also a great thing to show as well. It's like the powers that be sometimes can change over hands, and they can also have a better reason for, doing better for the community. Even though he's selling drugs still. It's like, hey, hold on now. I'm a good drug dealer. Time out.
He's selling
a drug dealer with a heart of gold.
That's it. Only a few people getting killed. That's it, y'all. Not everybody. So I thought that was kind of crazy to see. But of course, we kind of kick back and we actually see the problem is still lingering with Multipole, because the Order And it took me to like the last episode. I mean, the last few minutes of the episode to get the actual leader's name, right? With Mr. Liu, who was like the crime boss of the order,
The
right?
head
And
of the
basically,
dragon.
yeah, the head of the dragon. He's coming to Titan because he wants Titan to break out Multipole from this. I'm not even sure you can call it a maximum security prison. When you guys saw,
no.
I mean, I think we all had like a little cringe moment, but when we saw the way that Multipole was trying to break out from the prison, what did you think about it? I'll start with you, Stevie.
That made me so uncomfortable. I'm very claustrophobic, and it's seeing all those bodies pile up on each other. I'm like, oh my god, I hate all this right now. It just reminded me of like when people get like trampled on or something like that. I'm like, oh no, didn't like it at all. I did not. It made me feel so weird.
Yeah, it's terrible. It was terrible, honestly. What do you think about it, Damien?
We said in our group chat, that's not how this works. You know, him making all those multiples of himself just to use as just flotsam and jetsam just to get out of there, and then all the blood and gore, which we know comes with Invincible. I personally just don't like Multipole as a character. I just find him to be annoyingly whiny and borderline. You know how people blame millennials for everything, even though it's not millennials' fault? Yeah, that's Multipole. I blame him for everything, even though it may not be his fault. He's just corny. Just corny.
No, he definitely is, and I didn't realize it was Simu Liu who actually plays him, right? I didn't notice it until I started listening to the voice, and I'm like, that's Ken, bro. That's Shang-Chi in there. And that was crazy because I was like, oh man, he does such a great job as Multipole in being this like, you know, arrogant person. But I had like a question for the jail, and I'm like, okay, you know Multipole's powers, right? Why didn't we throw a power dampening collar on him from the jump?
Why don't they all have that? Any of them? Like,
I was like, this is a low security prison. Like, he's not in max at all.
Wait, was this the same prison that Cecil overhauled? Is this the same prison?
I don't know. I don't think they really detailed what prison it was, but obviously they need help because they don't know what to do. I guess they never handled a guy like him before. So they're like, what in the world? Because I'm like, all right, why even get to this point where like he's able to escape? Like once I find out, okay, he makes millions of himself, get that guy a collar. Boom. He's priority number one. There's obviously just regular people in here, or Machine Head was actually in there too. Yeah, and he didn't have a power dampening collar. So, but what is his power? He's
a machine. Maybe?
Is that a power?
I don't know.
He's a medical miracle. That's what his power is. He's a medical miracle, and that's his power. Wow. I'm glad to be alive. That's great. All right, superpower.
Here's a suit. Yeah.
Like wow, that's crazy.
We're not Black Mask at all.
Voice. That's what his power is. Auto-tune.
Right.
To be T-Pain.
That non-stop underwater. But in doing so, while Multipole decides to use his powers to basically use his bodies to crush his jail cell, so eventually his door will reach capacity and the pressure will just be too great and it basically unlocks. He's jumping over carnage of himself and takes on the guards. Fails in doing so. But I mean, I would say this, he definitely has some skill set though. And if he ever were to turn to be the Guardians of the Globe, I think he would do well. Do you think he would succeed, or well, let's think about this. Who do you think is better, him or Kate? I'm gonna start with you, Damien.
Ooh, I think if you're bringing on the Guardians for the Guardians, I would think Multipole is a better fit because they get their hands dirty and he's not afraid to kill.
Yeah,
so that I think he would be a good addition with that whole hero villain revamping program that they're trying to get off the ground, apparently, which was brought up by Duplicate. She basically said, like, hey, I'm trying to get you in the reform section here, and you done threw that away. So
yeah. What do you think, Stevie?
I think that he would be good. I do agree with that. I also think they would be good together as a team. I would like to see them work together. That would be fun. See what they both could do.
Yeah, I think that would be great too, to see how they, I don't know. I feel like, because are they twins? I'm not sure if I guess they're twins, right? Or
I thought they were twins.
I thought they were twins because obviously they they have the same exact power.
Exact power.
In my brain, I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
they must have shared the same womb to have the exact same power. That's just how my thought process is.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they're a ripoff of the Wonder Twins from.
That's
the
what I
Super
thought.
Friends.
I mean,
Yeah.
outfits to it.
Yeah.
To a T,
Like,
right down to the ethnicity. If you really think about it, like go back
Exactly.
and remember it. Yeah. So
Was he ever a part of them? No, right? I don't remember. No.
No.
I think he's always been an assassin.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think they showed a clip in here where we get to see the earlier years, and this is what we mean by flashbacks, everybody, because like we got to see a lot of flashbacks of not only other characters and what their side life was, but we got to see Multi-Paul as well as Duplicate, and basically the trauma that they put their father through.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
he didn't have like as far as I know, they didn't describe that he had an illness or any type of disability, but he had a complete mental breakdown because he couldn't fathom the fact that his kids kept turning into more kids. I got 2 kids, so if my kids were turning into 2 kids or more kids, I'd be like, I'm
You be the
gone.
same
Like
way.
I'm out.
You'd be
Somebody
right there
take me
with
in
them.
somewhere. Like I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Like, am I imagining this or? And I'm pretty sure it was early on, maybe at a point where like I don't know.
Yeah, they show
It's
like
a lot
an
more
early birthday
questions.
party.
Yeah.
You could never
Yeah.
prepare enough.
And there
for it.
was no mom either. So
Oh
where
my
did she
God.
go? You know, maybe she
Oh.
went insane and left.
Yeah.
Like,
She
Or
probably
just
ran
left.
out to get a pack of cigarettes and just never came
Never
back.
came
She was just like, I'm gonna get milk. And just like
She went for the
Makes sense.
newspaper and never came back. Yeah.
yeah, so dad stuck around and suffered the consequences. That is a tough story.
mhm.
But yeah, we get to see the flashbacks on there, and that, what we took as a concept is that they were taken in by the GVA, and that the GVA decided to start training them, of course, as weapons because
Why
kids
not?
with these powers, why not
Mhm.
bring them up to work for us, right? And eventually, Simu's character, Multi-Paul, left his sister, and I immediately in the comments was like, Shang-Chi left his sister again. This is crazy.
He's always leaving this
Twice. He's
History
going
repeats
like,
itself. Yeah.
damn it, man. I was like, Zhu Zhang, and now you're gonna leave Duplicate. I'm like,
Duplicate. Mhm.
this is tough, bro. You're just not looking like a stand-up guy in the superhero world. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, it was a crazy little reference in there. And then the episode kind of kicks back and we get to see the life of Debbie and Oliver, and they're sitting there preparing breakfast, and they're in this awkward situation because Mark has been having his girlfriend, his brand new girlfriend, first off, like two
Wait, hold
days.
on.
They've been
We
dating 2
don't know.
days.
Wait. We don't know how much time has passed.
It ain't been
Okay.
that. It ain't,
It's
From
not
day
that
one,
long.
it ain't that long. Ain't no
They have
way.
a history,
Hell
right? They have a history. It's okay. It's all right.
Hell
They know
nah.
each other.
I'm like, y'all need to slow down. Y'all need to slow y'all little fast selves down. This is like when somebody's mom be like, you need to slow your little fast ass down. This is what they talking about right here.
Mhm.
Exactly. So there's an early morning ring. There's a ring of the doorbell, and Mark is like, oh, that's weird. Somebody's at the door super early.
God.
We like, man, get out of here. We know it's your girlfriend. She stayed over. Come on now. It's like, oh, that's weird. And then as they come in, and she's like,
I just happen to be walking by.
I just happen to be
Yeah,
walking
it's
in.
not subtle at all.
Like,
Like
Oh,
This is
the
terrible.
most like wooden rehearsed like
I was like, man, y'all are bad at lying. This is so bad.
Yeah.
And Debbie immediately invites her for breakfast because, as we know, Debbie knows what's
Debbie
going on.
knows.
Like she
Mhm.
ain't dumb. She heard her whispering in that room in the last episode, so we
Yeah.
really know what's up. And of course, Oliver, he don't give a damn. He over here spilling the beans. Oliver's
No
like,
filter.
he's like, Mark, you didn't get a good night. Oh, no matter of fact, Debbie says, Mark, you didn't get a good night's rest. And Oliver's like, no, he was up all night playing with Eve, and they're being too loud.
That's so
Like,
funny.
little brothers, man.
This shows
Do-
that they're real family.
No,
Yes,
it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
It really
The
does.
kicking
There's-
under the table.
Yeah, they're like kicking each other back and forth under the table, like shut up, shut up, shut up. But they're steadily doing it the whole entire time. And I thought for a second Oliver was gonna go too far and kick him too hard,
Mhm.
but it just never happened though, which is probably good because that would have been a whole nother conversation. But in there we get to see that Eve and Mark are kind of still trying to have this this relationship to have some type of normalcy in here. But to do that, they want to be a little bit more private, right? And have their alone time and not feel like they're under their mom's roof. Like, she gotta be quiet is what they said, right? I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Know what that means. So they're like, all right, let's get an apartment. And Mark starts asking his mom questions about an apartment, and she's like, in her head, she's like, bro,
You care about real estate,
you
bro?
don't know.
Yeah, right.
You got a job. You ain't got a job. That's what I kept thinking. I was like, your ass ain't got no money.
Tommy.
Tommy, yeah.
Got no job.
First reference to Martin. I was like, you ain't got no job, Tommy. I said, come on now. I was like, ain't no damn way. So yeah, they're striking up this conversation of really moving super fast. But in doing so in this episode, did you guys think, okay, there's gonna be a point where they figure out, okay, we need to really slow down, or did you think it was gonna still rapidly progress as it did? I'll start with you, Damien.
Nah, I knew they were gonna slow down eventually because number one, Debbie getting crazy. She gonna talk Mark off the ledge, and Eve to a lesser extent. Then I kept thinking, wait a minute, what about Eve's parents? What are they gonna say? Because remember, she just got allowed to live at home again.
That's true.
Yeah.
So she's like, all right, mom, I've been home for a week. I'm gonna go live with Mark now. So yeah, so a parent would have stepped in and said, I don't care if you have superpowers, this is dope. So yeah.
What would you think, Stevie?
I thought the same thing. I thought they were gonna end up not doing it anyway. I think it's like a mixture of just being like young and in love.
Yeah.
And also, and they're like 19. At 19, I feel like I also wanted to be on my own and stuff like that. Have that yearn to be on my own. And also, I feel like since they're superheroes, they want normalcy.
Yeah.
And they just want to live like a normal life. And what do you do when you have a normal life? You get an apartment with your partner and you live together. So I think that's like another reason why they want it so bad. But I'm glad they didn't do it, because I don't think leaving Oliver alone with the mom would have been good.
No, she would have lost her mind, to be honest with you. And honestly, the relationship, I feel like, between Eve and Mark, if this episode stays true to how real life really is, you don't really get to know anybody until you live with them, right? And you'd be like, hey man, you weird. Like, I gotta go. But I'm in this 12-month contract. So it's crazy, like you don't really know a person, and them being so fresh and new, they still like in the, I guess you can call it the honeymoon phase. But this would, I mean, if this relationship moved as fast as we've seen in the first 2 episodes, they've been married by episode 6. I guarantee it. We've been like, what is going on? Like, this, who's gonna object? Somebody gonna stop this? Like, it's crazy. But in doing so, for them to figure out how to make money, Eve actually has what I think was a brilliant plan to actually represent Mark as a private superhero contractor, is what I'm calling it right now, right? Superhero for hire, because prisons are having all these different, issues within the area, especially with the whole entire recent breakout attempt of Multipol. And it works. So I mean, they end up getting this contract, and I'm not sure how much they really said the numbers were for it. I don't think they really stated it, but they're getting paid a lot more than what they were before, which was 0. So I'm sure they're just happy with anything at this point. But then, we have Titan, who's still, testing the waters, and decides, that there's different things going on in his world, right? So when we look back at Titan and the relationship with Machine Head, did you think there would be a way that they'd be able to patch up that relationship, or do you feel like it's already broken and we'll see nothing else further between them in the next season? I'll start with you, Stevie.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work anymore. Like, he even said it later. He's like, if I see you again, if you try to do shit again, I'm gonna kill you. Like, this, no, not at all. I did not think that was gonna work at all. I thought they were working together though at first. Was it? I
did too.
So, but he was always pulling the strings, the Titan. So
right. What about you, Damien?
No, Stevie's absolutely right. We thought right up until the last moment, they might have been in cahoots with each other as they got to the end of it. Even in the boardroom, amongst all the legion of superheroes kind of thing, and it was just like, just kidding, you weren't in on the plan. But it was, for me, it seemed a lot of just oil and water, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna put it to other comic book terms, it was like Black Mask trying to like chill out with Luke Cage. It's like, this isn't gonna work out too well. So it was doomed to fail. But you know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And they've had a mutual enemy with Mr. Liu. So
yeah,
I think it worked for what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of enemies, matter of fact, it seems like Oliver is gaining friends, but also making, I guess you could say, enemies in the right places. You know, he's doing the stand-up thing here. And there's a scene in here where we get to see Debbie kind of rush into Mark's room and says, like, Oliver's gone. So, of course, and my first thought was, I was like, Oliver out here trying to fight crime at night, right? I'm like, get your ass in bed. You were 12. So I'm like, he need a whooping. He need a whooping. That's what it is. So for me, I was like, what is going on? And come to find out, when Mark and Eve finally find Oliver, he's really just sneaking out so he could be a normal kid. And first off, I don't know where those kids' parents were, because they was out late at night skateboarding, right? I guess everybody
stuck out.
Okay, all right.
typical kid stuff.
Everybody just doing their own thing. Okay. They had to use the normal way. They had to make sheets, climb out the window.
Right.
Oliver just hovers out. Must be nice. So they snuck out, and they decided to they decided to skateboard in, I guess, an area where they weren't supposed to be, where the security was kind of tight. Right. Because we see a car kind of drive through, and they start hiding and stuff like that. Because probably the rental cops is about to pull up on them. So we really just see that Oliver starting to want and also create a dynamic relationship just to be normal. Also, I think that seemed like this whole episode concept was really about normalcy for the most part, and not only for villains, but also for superheroes, just trying to keep that in motion and keeping that as like a dialogue for it. Because not only with Oliver, we also see Rex and Ray still trying this cooking dinner thing, right? Like cooking dinner's never been so difficult, but never been so sweet at the same time. And I'm so like, cute. It's super cute, right? Because Rex sends her a drawn picture in Crayola crowns, and is like, he's like, come. It don't even have words. It's just like
pictures.
Them sitting at a dinner table. Pretty good drawing. I'm not gonna lie, right? Mm-hmm. And they're at candlelight. Now that we see this conversation is happening between them two, are we seeing like a boyfriend girlfriend thing happening? Because
I think
there were
so.
like subtle moments. What do you think, Stevie?
I think so. I think they're trying to do a little bit of boyfriend girlfriend thing, and I think Rex is growing. He's growing. He's changing. He's not the same. I think he's ready for whatever relationship he's gonna have with Ray. So I thought it was super cute.
Yeah, it was. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I can't stand him in general, but to see growth, like Stevie said, like to see his growth is really impressive. And I feel that's the main theme of this season so far is growth. And Rex being able to not burn down the house while cooking.
Yeah.
One. And number two, being smart enough to know I can't cook, so let me get Fresh Direct on the line and get a meal kit delivered to the house. Because when I was his age and I was trying to cook in college for the first time for my college girlfriend, things did not go well in terms of the kitchen. So good on him. But normalcy, you mentioned that before. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get normalcy in the lives of superheroes as well as the villains, those slice of lives. And what this showed was the quest for normalcy in spite of having to do these amazing feats of fancy, whether or not you're a superhero or a villain. So it goes back to that last episode where we saw the beautiful ode to Requiem of that couple who got a job, and then they were robbing banks. And I need a follow-up this season. I need a follow-up about what happened to them too.
Yeah.
But it's showing growth. It's showing how people are functioning in the real world while these superheroes are out saving the world, or the criminals are out, like you said, being a good drug dealer, Cam. So just a very interesting way to look at things, especially, with everybody leaving the Guardians. I will say this. I don't like how we talk about the Guardians as this big group, and they were all living together like the real world when they all moved out. And now we don't really hear from any of them. It's just two people. Now, I get
Yeah.
it might be an animation problem, but
Yeah.
where's the rest of the team this whole point? What are they doing while everyone's having date
Yeah.
night? What's going on?
Yeah, I agree. You definitely don't see enough of the Guardians. I mean, honestly, it seems like Immortal and Duplicate are the only ones that are sharing the screen at this point. Everybody else is just like Black Samson.
Like Samson.
My man
Yeah.
ain't.
Where he at?
He ain't nowhere to be found.
He
They must
stayed.
have had like some cuts or something. They were like, all right, we'll keep you in the beginning. That's it. We'll catch you on a part 2 of the season or something.
Yeah.
But no,
We'll see them later.
I hope so.
I think it's like trying to focus on one thing at a time type thing. It's like
Yeah.
if you have too much, if you have too many storylines going on, it could get messy.
Mhm.
In like
No.
45 minutes episodes,
Makes
you know.
sense.
Yeah. I mean, because they're introducing more characters every week, and now we're getting to the point where they'll introduce a character and then the character's like gone half the episode, and I think all of us have the question like, all right, where'd they go? Because like I think in the what was it, first or second episode, we saw Punch Master and what was the other guy's name? The two twins.
Dropkick.
Dropkick, right? We got to see them and we were like, all right, so where do they go? And then they pop back up in episode 4. So we're like, okay, maybe that's the reoccurrence, or the idea of this season where you see somebody in one episode and hopefully they'll come back to kind of full circle complete their story. But I still feel like Punch Master and Dropkick story isn't over still, though. I don't know how y'all feel. I feel like we saw them and they completed their mission, but the future's always changing, or different timelines are always changing. So it's always something extra.
I agree, because with what Stevie was saying, which now that we're thinking about it is really true. You don't want to have too many intersecting storylines in a 45-minute cartoon.
Right.
So obviously you're going to follow one or two, but there is other things happening in the background. I won't be surprised if we see Fight Master and Dropkick one more time, especially now when they're in their future that Immortal's dead. So we have to see the fallout from that.
Yeah, but they did it a lot in this show too, because like when you think about it, you haven't seen Titan, I think, since season 1.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen the other one from last episode too, that Lion Beast guy, since season 1 either.
Battle Beast. Right.
Oh yeah, Battle Beast. Yeah.
And he just pops up. So
I know you're like,
they
huh?
might, yeah. So
doing?
it might be stuff that might happen like next season. We never know. They just pop up again.
Like, you still go here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, for real. Because I'm definitely watching these characters pop back up, and I'm like, he died. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I got to jog my memory. I'm like, oh wait, you are alive. That's right. Okay, you're back. But yeah, that just seems like the storyline of this season right now. So, let's see. So basically, we have Machine Head gets a visit right in the jail from Titan, and they're trying to deviate some type of plan where they can kind of stop the order, because the order, Mr. Liu, is basically pressing out Titan to break out Multipole. And he knows he can't because at this point they know that Invincible is protecting the prison. So in doing so, Titan kind of develops a smart plan to recruit Mark one more time on his team. We already know he recruited Mark in season 1, and that didn't go very well for Mark. Basically backstabbed him. I'm surprised Mark didn't go back to like whoop his ass, in season 2. But too many intersecting timelines, like we already said. Too much going on. We're like, just leave that guy alone. He got what he wanted. And in doing so, it was kind of funny because Invincible already knew that he's stronger than Titan, and Titan was still able to escape from Invincible by going through the sewers and having his whole entire community and block dress up in the same exact outfit as him so he can disappear. Almost like a Multipole type situation going on.
Right.
Were you guys surprised, or did the intellect of Titan surprise any of you? I mean, we've seen him before and we know he's a smart guy, right? He's always got the upper hand at some point. But in this episode, did he kind of surpass your expectations? I'll start with you, Stevie.
I think I always thought he was smart, even since like season 1. I always thought he was. So no, it didn't surprise me. I do like that he did the whole with the hoods and stuff
The
like that. I
diversion
thought it,
thing, yeah.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then like
Yeah.
when he took the hood back, he's like, "Oh, do we all look alike to
I
you?"
know. I was
And
like,
when they made
I was
that
like,
gag, man, I was
don't
like,
answer that, Mark.
ooh.
Don't answer that. If you don't do it.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. What do you think, David?
No, that was a cool get. What this really shows also, not that we all thought he wasn't smart. This shows again how impulsive and I'm not gonna say dumb, but he's not battle ready. Mark is because
Yeah.
he just he just charged in there thinking, yeah, this guy's a low level crook. I got this, and he got outsmarted. But for a man again that doesn't know how to send an email, I'm not surprised now that he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Think about it. When they were trying to get a job, who helped him get the job? Eve.
Yeah.
Who's his agent? Eve. Who's had to make all the decisions for him? His mom. So he's just a big old mama's boy, but he doesn't have enough. And this is where him not having a team or being a part of a team is going to come back to bite him in the backside because he's not a strategist. It's just punch and throw down. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So him being outsmarted by a human, right? Even though he's not really a human, I loved it because it shows a little bit more hubris on Mark's end, which he needs. And I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. Mark needs to be brought down a couple of pegs, and we see it happening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It definitely reminisced on like a Batman moment where like, Superman's just sitting there talking and you turn around and Batman's gone. And he's like, how does he do that? And it's like, bro, you should be able to hear him moving. Like, how do you're not paying attention to the right things, probably. Right. I'm like, strange. But yeah, we get to see that Titan really is just that intelligent and that smooth in this episode. But all right, so in doing so, we get to see that nobody can be trusted in this crime organization, right? Because at this point,
in this show, forget the crime organization. Nobody in the show can be
everybody's
trusted.
untrustworthy at this point.
Yeah.
Except for Debbie. I trust Debbie though.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Only person I would trust. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to Debbie's for dinner. But the order comes to Titan now, and they're like, hey, where's my number one assassin who is Multipole? Because the job for Titan was to break him out of the prison, and he decided not to. Now that Mr. Liu, as well as with his giants, they called him a 700-pound, I guess, bodyguard.
Yeah.
He's confronting him, and he's like, all right, it's me and Isotope. We're going to go ahead and face him. Isotope immediately switches over and is like, hey, man, I'm smart. I don't want to die, so I'm going to betray you. And in doing so, they get into this fight, but before the fight begins, Mr. Liu turns into this dragon that we've only heard about so far. And he's literally like the Dragon Ball Z dragon that comes out of him and his body. But it's like,
it's like the dragon from Shang-Chi.
That's what I thought of. Yeah.
They're green. And the old man or Mr. Liu basically just like passes out and his soul turns into a dragon, which is not, I guess it's more of a, I don't know what to call it. Because I guess I don't know what you would call it though. I mean, it's not a hologram, or it's not like, I guess you can call it his soul or his spirit, or like his spirit animal comes out. I guess you can call it.
Yeah,
but it's like an animality in Mortal Kombat. There you go.
Right. And in doing so, him and Titan are fighting, and Titan's shell basically gets cracked. I didn't know it could crack, to be honest with you. I thought like, okay, he just has this concrete or rock outer shell that can't get cracked. And the dragon, in doing so, takes him out of the window of his penthouse and drops him. Do y'all remember how he like survived the drop, or was it?
They didn't show it.
They didn't show it at all, right? He just like fell, and I was like, "How did he survive that?" Because even Isotope said about it.
Because the way he was positioned, it would seem that the side that was still hardened would have taken the fall,
right?
The brunt of the fall,
right?
That's how I assumed it was going to happen anyway. I didn't think he was dead.
He probably regrows the rock stuff back, even if it's cracked. So
yeah. I'm trying to figure out like how fast. I mean, I don't need to know all the answers.
He survived.
Like it's a cartoon, but at the same time, it's like I want to know, So in doing so, we just see him fall, and we're like, okay, Titan dead. That's it. And that's not where Mr. Liu stops, because I guess he figured, I mean, I'm already a dragon. I might as well just do the job that I got to do now. I don't want to go back to my body. Yeah. So he goes straight to the prison where Multipole is located, and he just starts running rampant, not only on the prison, but also the people that are in the prison as well. The guards don't give up no fight, and the warden immediately, who's played by, I don't know her name, but she's the same lady that played Harriet Winslow. And we're watching the show, and I'm like, it's Harriet. It's Harriet. I know it's Harriet. I'm like, dang, come on. They got Carl's in here.
Yeah.
Harriet, we just need Steve.
Next.
We need Steve, man. Let's get Steve and Laura in the episode. I'll be like, all right. They did it. They did it. Don't get Orlando Brown, though. Do not add him in there.
No.
Nah.
Was he in the show? I have no idea. I haven't seen Family Matters.
He was on there when he was like real little. So
yeah, he was like Richie's next door neighbor.
Yeah, he's like the next door neighbor. So that's another show. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. But in doing so, of course, the warden immediately calls Invincible, and of course Eve tags along because she's like, all right, 2 for 1. They got to pay us double for helping out, get that money. So this fight is ensuing, and Eve is kind of like more so on cleanup for the most part, but we do get to see a lot more of Eve's powers than we've ever seen, I think, in this episode.
Yes.
What did you think of, I guess you could say, the ingenuity as well as the fighting skills that she had in this episode? I'll start with you, Stevie.
I like that. I mean, she has been doing the crime fighting thing like a lot longer than he has, so it makes sense that she knows more to him in that sense, and how to like not beat everybody up, but kind of like this, get everything in order,
like wrangle them.
Like wrangle them and stuff like that. I also like that she turned into like this pink armor thing.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Really cool.
Remind me of like little Sailor Moon, a little Steven Universe with the little hexagon thing that she was in. So I like it. I also like that they were fighting together, because I feel like we're gonna see a lot of that since they're a couple, like them fighting together. For sure. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, definitely was. What would you think, Damien?
Shout out to architecture and the way that she uses her powers with architecture, which that's one of the things that caught my attention. So she's been paying attention to architecture class to make the little prisons and the encasements and things like that. So Stevie's right. She's got a better handle on her powers than Mark does, because hers are a little bit more intricate. They're not just unga me smash. It's no, I got to be more thoughtful here. I have to be able to, one, house the villains back because she's thinking about infrastructure, and two, to be an accessory hero to Mark, as we saw when she turned herself into like a, what do you call those? It
was like a mace,
like a flail.
I guess you call it.
A mace or flail, yes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Very,
exactly. Very pink Green Lantern. And I actually want to see more of her integrating her powers in different ways. Like you said, Stevie, Green Lantern, perfect way to describe it. She can manipulate her powers in a whole abundance of ways to help Mark, hopefully.
Yeah. I like that you brought up the architecture thing too, because like there was like one thing that I was like commenting on when they were like, oh, we need to find an apartment. I'm like, why can't they just make an apartment? She could do that.
I know.
They made a treehouse, but then that makes sense because she's learning stuff, because she's like, oh, we can't do that because there's like zoning laws. Like we can't just build anywhere. Like where are we going to build at the park? But that's so true. It's like little things like that make the show really good.
Yeah, I think so. The finer details for sure. They really thought about in all different avenues. And just to your point, the armor that she had though, crazy. I'm like, yo, this looks so cool. Because I think we've seen her with armor before, but never to that extent.
Not to that extent.
Like, like it was like, it was wild. It was wild. And I like how her powers can be used by other people as well. Like she can kind of shape it to be any type of material, instead of just having a ring. And it's so one-dimensional when only one person can wield the power that you have. But her being able to amplify somebody else's power, I think is like super, super vital to them being very successful in these fights, because I think she did more damage than Mark did half the time, honestly.
She did.
I mean, because like Damien said, Mark he's just there to punch his way out of a wet paper bag at this point, and he's just swinging for the fences. And we see it when he's fighting this dragon, because at one point he's getting killed by his dragon. Another puncture wound for Mark again. We're just like, bro, you somebody's tooth is going into you every single episode so far. And we see him kind of cut up and all wounded, and then the dragon kind of bumps him up to the sky. And Mark decides, I'm a cannonball straight into the dragon's skull, and he hits the dragon. And I guess he kind of smashed his skull. He doesn't really go through it, but he kind of hits him so hard that like there's an exit, there's a wound where he kind of entered.
He was bleeding,
and we're like, he did. We're like, all right, he got the dragon. But come to find out, the dragon is not of this world, so you really can't hurt it. It's really all mystical for the most part. So the only way to kill the dragon is if you kill Mr. Liu's body, which we even see that ain't even true as well. So that threw me for a loop the whole entire time. But in doing so, while this fight is going on, there's a lot of different things moving, or different parts moving right now. So Eve is trying to wrangle up all the prisoners, and she subsequently gets focused on Multipaw at one point as well. Multipaw kind of does a hidden card trick with her, and it's like, the guy charging you, this is who you're gonna put in the prison, but really I hit a guy over here so I can escape, which is genius, I think. Because what happens to his other selves? Does he just want others?
Who cleaned up the mess? That was one of the questions I had. All those bodies in the beginning, who cleaned up all the paws?
Somebody's working overtime for sure.
Did it just like go back into him? Like what's
I don't know.
Work? Yeah.
Or does it dissolve? Like just like, okay, no more body. So many questions. I got so many questions for this thing. It is crazy.
What happens to Kate? I assume that they were the same.
Yeah, because Kate did that. That's how she survived.
Yeah, but they buried her body though, because they really thought she was dead. So I think the body just kind of stays there. I don't think it doesn't disappear or go away. It's just like, okay,
we got to clean it up though.
This is them, like this is their parts. So yeah, so we kind of get back to it. We got Titan, who we think is dead. We have Multipaw, who escaped, and then we have Machine Head, who actually escaped as well, because Eve kind of goes to his cell to find him as like one of the last prisoners she's trying to secure, and he's gone. I thought like, all right, maybe he had like a hologram system on him or something where he was like hiding, because she never closed the door behind her. She just kind of like floated back out, and like maybe he was just like staying really still, but he has no powers. He's just a robot head, is what we figured out. But in doing so, I think what happened is Isotope actually came to get him in that same moment. So Isotope gets him. He goes back, and he's now there, not alone, but the 700-pound bodyguards there holding Mr. Liu's body still. And we're already looking like, okay, Invincible is not that invincible. He's about to get eaten by a dragon. And of course, Machine Head is like, all right, I'm going to blow your brains out. Literally what he says. And he shoots Mr. Liu, and the dragon disappears. No more dragon, thank God, because we, at this point, had no idea how to defeat him. Watching the scene, and watching the scene and trying to figure out what's going to happen next, did you think that Machine Head was going to give Titan a place at the table? Or did you think, okay, now that Machine Head's taken back over, Titan is going to get wiped out? What did you think, Stevie?
I don't know. I don't know what Machine Head would have had done. He's so like, you just never know with him. I don't even think like he wanted it. Like Titan wanted it. Like he said, he left. He's just like, I just want control of my city. That's it. Leave me alone. Right. Like I just want out of this. So I have no idea if he was going to offer him a spot, but I mean, maybe. Maybe. We don't know what he's going to do. Yeah.
What did you think, Davey?
So while we're talking, I'm looking up his powers because we think he's useless. So his powers are quantum probability upgrading. So he's basically the leader from Captain America: Brave New World. Spoiler.
Okay.
Another ability is he's a master tactician. due to the quantum possibility upgrade. So he's a cyborg. So
Math, really good.
there you go. He's a
Okay.
psychotic brainiac.
There you go.
So maybe he did
Good at
know that
math,
Titan was
good
gonna
at
do
science.
that. Yeah.
All right. Computer science doctorate is what we're hearing.
Yeah.
That's he got it all. He got it all. That's crazy. But yeah, now that we kind of pan back and that part of the episode is kind of done, but at the same time, Mark and Eve are still trying to figure out if they're going to move out or what their plans are going to be next. They're both now having second thoughts, as we all were in this whole entire episode watching, and we're like, "Don't do it, girl." Right?
Instant regret. Don't do
Run,
it.
Make it slow.
run. Like, slow down. There's no need for all this. And they decide, you know what? Now that Oliver has been running out and kind of escaping, well, not escaping, but he's been sneaking out at night to hang out with his friends. Mark feels like it's part of his responsibility to take care of Oliver because, of course, Oliver doesn't have a father figure because the dad is gone, Nolan, and he needs to be there for his brother. And Eve feels like they were kind of moving too fast also as well. Was this a hooray moment for y'all? Or like, were y'all like, thank goodness? How did y'all feel?
It was a hooray moment. I'm happy. I feel like that, and then Oliver's gonna be like a teenager soon. Like he's like a little kid right now, but he's gonna be a teenager.
Growing really fast.
Yeah. So I don't know. Leaving him alone with the mom, that would have been a lot. And even she was like upset too. Like I feel like she didn't want either of them to go. But I feel like she's so used to people just like leaving, like the dad.
That is true. I never thought about that.
Point.
Yeah, it's a really good point. That's a real point. What you think, Damien?
You know what? I thought there was something subtle that happened during the fight with Eve, Mark, and the dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
She mentions saying something along the lines of, we're in a relationship, we're partners, we have to trust each other, and we support each other, even when you mess up. So Mark's not used to that. Mark's used to everybody, you know, like his dad abandoning him. His mom doesn't have power. Cecil betrayed him. So he's used to handling things this season on his own. So letting someone in, because he didn't let his last girlfriend in because, you know, superheroing, but letting Eve in now might be a little bit of a whoa, too adult for him. This is way too mature for him. And I don't want to use the trope that women mature faster than men, but it seems that way, that Eve is way more mature than Mark is. Yeah. And they're of a similar age bracket. So I'm glad they didn't do it, but I'm thinking down the road, this might open up a weird door of, I don't think we should date now because Mark's immature and he's like a pseudo dad with his little brother. So no,
I agree. Because I feel like Mark hasn't had to grow up as fast as Eve has, you know, because like Eve has had to go out since being young teenager and be out on her own because her parents didn't support, you know, her powers or the things that she had no control on getting, you know. So she had to kind of be on her own, and you know, she developed with I want to call them Teen Titans, but the teen team. It's a tongue twister a little bit. You know, I got to develop there, you know, and kind of be out on our own. And Mark has been at home this whole entire time. Like we stated before in this episode, he didn't have an email. Didn't even know how to set up an email, which is not that hard, to be honest with you. Even she said it. It's very, very easy. So just a lot of baby steps.
He's pampered a lot now that I think about it.
He's spoiled.
He's mama's
very spoiled. He's a mama's boy. I'm pretty sure they have money. Like, because I know Nolan was writing the books and stuff like that.
And she does real estate, so they making money, you know. So he's sheltered.
Very sheltered, and he didn't get his powers late. He got his powers late too, so it's not like
that's true. That's true.
So.
And if anything, you know what this does for Debbie also? It makes me understand how wonderful and great she is as a character. Because this is the only person with no superpowers in any of these people's lives, and they still listen to her. They respect her and listen to her. And it's like, wow, they could literally snap her neck, and they're just gonna be like, okay, mom. Even with Eve, knowing that that's Mark's mom, she respects Debbie to the point where she's playing along with the gag, right? So kudos to Deb. I know I said I wanted a spinoff of Debbie doing other stuff. I still want to see it. Give me what I want. I still want a Debbie spinoff where she's going to date and sell houses like Phil Dunphy. It's fine.
It's gonna be called Normal Debbie. Like, oh, that's really good. I like this. Or she should go on like The Bachelor. Go on
Oh
The
my god,
Bachelor.
yeah.
Debbie the Bachelorette. They're like, damn, this is.
And she can only date superheroes because.
Oh
of
my
her segment.
god.
Oh, that's toxic. Yeah, that's super toxic. I don't know.
Omni-Man comes back as like a special guest, you know?
Yeah,
Like how they
that
bring
would
the X
be-
back.
Prime Video, if you're out there, we're feeding it to you right now. Just go ahead and take our money. So yeah, all right. So the last little part of this episode, we get kind of 2 cutscenes where we see that Machine Head is now taking over the order. Everyone that is full of villains at this, I guess you can say this long table, or I guess you can call it the
boardroom almost.
Yeah, the boardroom table.
Mhm.
They're all sitting there and no one has anything to say about Machine Head taking over. They're just like, go ahead and take it. Titan, as we know, or Stevie alluded to, asked for one thing. He asked for a city, and he asked for I think that was it. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he just wanted his city.
Sorry, I thought it was something extra. He was like, yeah, just leave me out of it. And, I want out and I just want the city. That's it. And you're like, you know what? That dude's pretty smart. Even though he's made a 50% rock, still one of the smartest guys out here. So you guys got to watch out for him. Which I think we all said in this review, honestly. And then we kind of get a peek into duplicate. God damn, to combine their names. So we see in here that she gets like one of those what do you call it? Like where it's like
paper
mache. Is it called paper mache? Is it called?
Yeah,
I think so. It's like a paper mache and it's
origami.
It's origami
Maybe.
boy paper mache, and it's all of several different boy origamis. I don't know. I think it's paper mache. Yeah, paper maches. And she sees it and she immediately knows that her brother has escaped and he's not dead. Because
okay, see, I thought that was going to be totally different. Okay, so that clarified something for me because I was confused.
What did you think it was?
I thought she was pregnant.
Oh shit!
No.
Oh my god! No, we don't need that.
The multiple babies. Like I thought she was
Oh
going
my
to get
God,
multiple babies.
That would be crazy.
Knock the mom.
She would be like the dad. She would be like her dad, like just stuck drooling. Immortal. Pew! That guy's gone. I can tell. He's running
ain't gonna
out.
stick around.
He's like, I love you, but gotta go. And that's kind of where our episode ends in here. Oh, and we actually get to see that the 700-pound bodyguard that fell through the sky, he survived that, and he took Mr. Liu's body to some underground ancient chamber and breathed the dragon back into Mr. Liu. How did the dragon get in him? There's a lot of questions that are going to get answered.
I don't know. Yeah.
The dragon was dead. How did dragon get in his big ass?
When the dragon blew up, right? I literally thought Mark took it in all his cuts and bruises. No. I thought, okay, maybe it possessed Mark eventually. But then seeing it with the bodyguard, wait a minute, what happened? How?
Yeah, like how did it get there? Because that was like hundreds of miles away. So he looked like he disintegrated. So I'm thinking he's gone. But
yes, his essence came back because he's not from this world, and I guess it reformed in his henchmen.
Maybe it's like a spirit and something. You can't really kill a spirit, or maybe like a god. I don't know.
That's true. Like, there's like a very Raza Ghul going on right now. I was like, damn, he's still alive. So I guess we'll see more of Mr. Liu. I thought it was over for him. Like we're never going to see him again, but no one's ever truly dead in the world of Invincible. If you guys had to rate this episode, what would you give it out of 10? I'll start with you, Damien.
6. I thought the action was good for what it was. It did move the story along a little bit, but I think it just kind of went a little too long of just monotony. So
yeah, for sure. What about you, Stevie?
I give it a 7. I like the side plots. I do. It's a filler episode, but I like how they explore like little things and call things back from previous seasons or previous episodes. I thought it was good.
And I'm a people pleaser, so I'm gonna go right in the middle. I'm going for 6.5. That's
right. Do this.
That's right. I'm not here. I'm not there. I'm right in the middle. I think it was a good episode. It definitely gave us quite a bit of flashbacks and backstory on a lot of characters, just like the previous episodes. But the action definitely did it for me for sure. We just got to get Mark to like a Nolan level, man. Like I can't wait till he finally gets there eventually, hopefully in this season. I don't know. Probably it's gonna be later on. Anything you guys want to add or touch on that you liked about this episode?
Mark did annoy me towards the end because when he was like talking to Titan, he was like, "Oh, I gotta arrest you now." I'm like, he just saved your life. Shut up.
Get out of here. Like,
shut up.
Going back to his whole black and white way of thinking, right? Just like, no, you're a criminal. You're bad. I don't care if you're a dad. I'm going to take you to jail. Like, dude, you have 2 gaping wounds in your chest. Go away. Like, go chill out, man.
I don't think he doesn't have the concept or idea. Like you said, it's very black and white. He's just like, all right, good guys and bad guys. He doesn't realize sometimes you got to let the little fish go to catch the big fish later. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
He doesn't think like that at all. No contingency plans. He's just like, let me just punch, and hopefully I'll do a good job. But
and for what you said about last thoughts, I honestly didn't think Mark was this dumb. So if the writers are
shine the light on his stupidity, for
man, he needs to be a better strategist and tactician, which is what Nolan had. What he's missing is that piece that Nolan could have taught him, or even Cecil could have taught him. But no, I'm a big man. I could go by myself. I'm gonna have a girlfriend. I'm gonna get my own house, bro. You don't even stop. Go away.
He went from like kid to dad like immediately. It's like, nah, bro. There's steps. There's steps in between that you gotta take. Like you can't just immediately be like, I'm a man today. Like nah. But you know why he thought he was a man though, right?
Because he had sex.
Yeah, you know, everybody started smelling himself. It's like,
He's like, I know you're having sex. He's like, la 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 la.
Yeah, he even still does like a little kid thing where he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about this with my mom, like type thing. I'm still a little kid.
Funny.
Yep, it's crazy. Well, listen, guys, that's gonna be all for us today. Damien, tell everybody where they can check you out at.
Yeah, you can find me at the Damien Gracia on Instagram or Damien G Show on Twitter, where I review wrestling shows now on Twitter or X, if you want to call it that, as I prepare to go cover WrestleMania, hopefully for Big Gold Belt, if not for another outlet.
Nice. Stevie, tell everybody where they can find you at.
You can find me at @isthatstevie_ on Instagram and @Stevie on Twitch, where I'm gonna be playing Red Dead Redemption 2 soon. So yeah, never played it before. Super excited.
You'll love it.
You haven't played it? Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good.
I know. I heard.
Between that and Last of Us is the only game where I was like, all right, man, turn this off, turn this shit off. What the crap? It's really good. It's really, really good.
Excited.
But yeah, looking forward to that. Everybody at home, you can check me out at Cam's Collection and Just Cam for Now on Instagram, YouTube, and on X. Everybody at home, make sure you check out Invincible Season 3, Episode 5, coming February 20th, only on Prime Video. If you guys want to see more videos and more content just like this, make sure you check us out at biggoldbeltmedia.com. Until next time, peace.